But they're good people. My favorite's my brother-in-law, Skillet. He's the biggest nut you've ever met. Skillet, yeah. Long story short, he got beat up by a Waffle House waitress one time with a skillet. So he was scattered, smothered, and covered right there in the parking lot. And here's the best part. The only reason I mentioned his nickname, guess what his ex-wife's name was? You can't even make this stuff up. Pam. Isn't that great? That's great. Comedy writes itself. That was a non-stick relationship, wasn't it? But Skillet's a good old boy. He drives a UPS van. Not for a job, he just got one at an auction real cheap. So he can park wherever he wants to. But he modified it. Now it's like a deer hunting lodge on wheels. It's pretty sweet. We got any hunters in this bunch? Nobody? That's why we're hitting them on the road every other day, huh? I tell you, if you ever go hunting in a UPS van, here's my tip to you. You might. It happened to me. I didn't think it would. There's only 2 seats. They flip down to the front. They're attached. I'm the third guy to get in. They got me on an old office chair missing 2 wheels. Bungee corded to the inside of that van. So I don't say nothing. Sometimes you got to let it ride. I say, here we go. Let's see what happens. So we hit the guy's farm we're going hunting on. We hit a couple of ruts, and I sprung loose, and I was like, whoosh, to the front, whoosh, to the back. I mean, it was just like, I started screaming. They just chucked a roll of duct tape at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do, tie myself to the wall? They're like, no, rip off a piece as big as your mouth. You're going to scare away all the deer out here. And I did, apparently. Like, if you've gone hunting, if you know somebody goes hunting, when you try to get a deer, you don't get one, it drives you nuts. Because on your way back home, it seems like everybody else gets one just to rub it in. To prove they were there and you couldn't get it. We're driving back in that UPS van. 2 guys go by us in a Geo Metro, subcompact car, and they got a deer. But it wasn't on the hood of the car. They would have flipped it over if they did that. They crammed him in the hatchback seat of that automobile. They had to roll down the window and let his head dangle out like, ah! Ah! I'm thinking, that deer is a loser twice. That's embarrassing right there. He needs some Ray-Bans or something. Help him. That's stuff you see, man, when you travel, you know. But I was just happy to go hunting again. It had been years since I've been hunting, because when I first got married, I didn't talk to my wife about guns in the house. You know, you need to have that discussion, I found out. Well, I showed her where they were. I said, here's my sweet 16s that my dad gave me. Don't do nothing with them. If you need them, use them. If you don't, just leave them right there. Well, I go out on the road a couple of weeks later, come back, my 2 rifles were gone, just missing. I said, honey, where'd you move them? She goes, oh, the police department had this thing going on where you could bring out any firearm you didn't want in your house and they would destroy it for you, no questions asked. I'm like, well, the questions are starting now. I'm like, you got to be joking. She goes, no, you're clumsy. I'm just going to tell you right now. You're going to get out there in the woods one day and slip on a root and shoot off your head, and where's it going to leave me the rest of my life? She said that 15 years ago. She got me a new rifle for my birthday. Yeah. It was loaded and everything when I opened up that box. How'd you get the bow on the trigger so tight? Let's go. I love that joke. It scares me. I know what's going to happen.